Show yourself to the camera.
Oh, poor little Ollie. She looks so tired.
I know she is quite sleep deprived, and
Have you been making her watch the IPL?
well, she's been doing it herself. She loves the remote control. There are some nights when I wake up and I hear the television's on, and someone's
Ollie,
watching the IPL.
Ollie, Ollie, what do you think of Hyderabad's middle order batting?
She's licking her paw, so I don't know what that means.
Okay, let's get on with the show. Roll the bumper. Oh, bless her. I feel like licking my paw sometimes when I watch Sunrisers, Hyderabad middle order batting as well. So it's completely understandable that we're, of course, involved in a very exciting match. One of the ridiculous things that we've seen in the IPL. So hello and welcome to the good, the bad, and the ridiculous. It's kind of, we're struggling a bit, aren't we, Barra? We're struggling a bit. And I think that the news that Ravichandran Ashwin has pulled out because he's got to go and help his family cope with the coronavirus. We've got our production people, over there as well. We've got many friends. I know that you've lost friends recently. It is becoming hard, isn't it, to just keep talking about the cricket.
It's been so awkward just even tweeting about the IPL, not just about our show, Mel, just generally, because it's like there are two realities playing out in India right now. There's the IPL, where you have this fake crowd noise and people are hitting sixes and people are taking wickets and celebrating stuff, celebrating victories and all smiles. And right outside those doors, it's a different world. That is the real India right now. It's just reeling under this second, third wave. And yeah, you're right. I was just speaking to Isha this morning, and I think more than 50% of the people right now, from what we are hearing, every time you go to Twitter or to a WhatsApp group, someone either is recovering from the virus or someone succumbed to the virus. It's close family, extended family, friends or friends. It almost feels like more than 50% of the population is either recovering from it, has got it, or is about to get it. It's that inevitable, and it's crazy for us to be talking about the IPL and for the IPL to just keep going on. But the other side of the coin is, it does give a lot of people jobs. Some people, or a lot of people on Twitter say at least it keeps people at home, or at least that's their only solace. So, there's no right decision in this case. It's just it's just a tough call. But yeah, a lot of respect to Ashwin. Like he said in his tweet, a lot of people in his family have been struggling with the virus. So, family comes first, regardless of what you do in life. So it's good that he's going and taking care of them.
Yeah, and I guess what we will have to ask ourselves, and this will be a question with that T20 World Cup coming up as well. There's the local industry, yes, but the argument that people will stay home and watch it and get enjoyment from it, that would still be the case, I think, if it was being held in the UAE.
Exactly.
So that argument sort of does crumble a little bit, and I wonder if that will be a little bit more significant for the rest of the year, sort of as it pans out. So of course our thoughts go out to Ashwin as well. We hope he and his family are all well, and to all of you. Look, it feels like I know I'm feeling really helpless right now. All I can say is please stay home, wear those masks, sanitize, do all the right things to look after yourself, and please stay safe over there. We really want you to all to stay safe. So good morning to everyone coming in. We're going to start with our first nomination, but I might pull out a few here. Here's one for you, Barra. Bhuvi and Butler are having great form on the field in the India England series, but their performance in the field stands completely different now in this IPL, and with this vintage team same as last year. How has CSK managed to be on top of the chart?
Maybe because very few of their players were involved in that India-England series. I guess. When Ravindra Jadeja was just coming back from injury, was he? Or he was still injured. That's how far back that seems, that India-England series. It's one of those things, right? The IPL is a very different format to international T20 cricket. And these two are seasoned superstars of world cricket, Josh Butler and Bhuvneshwar Kumar. You would think that it's just a matter of time before they'll come good. Generally, with these kind of players, it's just that one game. Okay, Ollie. I know I'm
That's
boring.
what Ollie. No, I think Ollie's bored by their performances, aren't you, Ollie?
Yeah, hopefully by their performances and not by my performance, as she like jumps off and leaves the stage. Okay, go. Sorry. Yeah. So I think it's just a matter of time before they come good. It also doesn't help that both are playing for teams which have been very inconsistent. So there's been a lot riding on their performances. And Bhuvi didn't play last night, did he? I don't know whether he was left out. I just happened to catch the beginning of that match, so they didn't show us the toss here on TV in Australia. So I'm not sure why he was not playing yesterday. So it's just one of those things. I think they'll come good. Bhuvi was sensational against England, right? He made a great comeback to international cricket. So he's still a world-class bowler. And about CSK, like I said, we discussed it in the beginning. Who knows who writes their scripts, right? They just find ways. And I think, but the most significant part is, I know I got criticized yesterday for tweeting something positive about Dhoni, but because he's not been scoring runs or he's not done anything sensationally in terms of his individual performance. But that's what he does. The greatness about Dhoni is he finds a role for people, not just on the field, but even in his life. Read the Dhoni Touch if you want to know more about it. Still on the stores, but on the shelves. But he and that's what you could see that last year. Some were just fitting into that role, like a Sam Curran, for example. While some were maybe just had overstayed their roles. So Kedar Jadhav was let go, and that's really how Dhoni likes to go about forming his team. And everybody seems to be performing their role, but like we will speak about the man. When you have one man performing all roles for you, why do you need like a team?
See, I thought you could maybe get through a non-specific Jadeja question without mentioning Jadeja. But look, every nomination, even if it wasn't about Jadeja, was about Jadeja for this. So let's bring up a couple of them here. Of course, he was. It was supremely ridiculous, his performance. Here we go. Here from Keziraj
Karthik, yeah.
Sorry if I made an absolute meat pie out of that one. I've got a problem with my laptop bringing them up. The amount of impact Jadeja has on every game in all three aspects is ridiculous. Yes, we have another one as well. When is Jaddu returning to his own planet? And he is that player. I remember it was in the 2017 tour where I started tweeting like things for his next trick, So Jadeja will climb onto a unicorn and fly around the stadium shooting sparks from his bat. Like he's one of there aren't that many players in international cricket. There's Ben Stokes is another one who might do it, who might have one of those games where in every single aspect, because of course you don't have that many all-rounders who do actually get involved in every single one, but he is that player who can do that. And when he's on, he's just on. He had an absolute day out in that match. And as just before you sort of start waxing lyrical as well, I'm going to bring up another one saying, Sir Jadeja, what an amazing day for him. This is from Rinmoy. 3 times player, seems fully fit and raring to go. And Vikrat Singh says, good, Ravindra Jadeja, badly good, Jaddu, and ridiculously good, Sir Jadeja. So add to that if you will.
I know. How does one better anything? How does one find words to describe that Jadeja performance? I was glad I wasn't writing about it because, it would have been very difficult not to indulge in some hyperbole, like just for the kind of day he had. And, Nick Knight on commentary spoke about how a few years ago when he asked Paul Fabres, who was then assistant coach of England, if there's one player in international cricket that you would want in the England team, who would it be? And he apparently said Ravindra Jadeja, and no surprises there because India has been. We spoke about it during the India-Australia series as well. India has been looking for this next Kapil Dev for so long. It's been like 30 years, But I think they might not have found the next Kapil there, but they've in Ravindra Jadeja found an all-rounder who, as current, as he is right now, is almost as good as Kapil Dev in terms of how he contributes on the field.
Impact.
Yeah. I'm not comparing him with Kapil Dev. Don't give me some grief for that. But I'm just saying that he's as good as him in terms of all-round talent. He's doing everything. I was joking yesterday about the only thing he didn't do yesterday was wrap someone on the pads, quickly put on Virender Sharma's top and give it out, or maybe bowl the ball, sprint across. He is quick, he can do that, and stump the batsman. Maybe someday he'll do that as well. You can't put anything past Ravindra Jadeja right now. But it's funny, Mal, there was a few years ago, I think 2016-17, where I thought after Virat Kohli, the next Indian cricketer who got crowds excited around India or Indian fans around the world was Ravindra Jadeja. He was really going up that way in terms of being an all-format superstar. Then the Champions Trophy final happened, and Ashwin and him were left out for a while, and then Jadeja came back, and ever since he's just incredible. I mean, the ball hardly seems to miss the middle of his bat these days. He's just a sensational cricketer, and I don't know whether you noticed yesterday after he done everything he done. I think the 17th or 18th over, there was a ball that went up in the air to a short fine leg, and you could see that someone from the Chennai dugout or maybe the RCB dugout was just taking his case for not having gone for the catch, and you could see him signal that as if he was saying that I would have had to take flight, but Jaddu returning to his own planet. Who knows? Maybe someday he will take flight as well.
He did, honestly. He could just do everything, and I've been to his restaurant as well. He's got quite a nice restaurant. I'd say he probably cooks all the food himself too. Wouldn't surprise me.
He cooks the vegetables using that sword thing, maybe. And the best part about him is he's focusing on growing his hair. So we had some hair discussions while they were in Australia, which is always a good sign. We can do with Ravindra Jadeja in our little group.
Yeah. Now, I just see a comment there from Rinmoy, whose comment we just read out, saying, thanks, Mel and Bharat, for mentioning me. First time able to join your show live, otherwise listening to your show later. Well, thank you for joining us live. It's the first time Bharat's joined our show live as well, I think, on time anyway.
Because of the
dog. We just play Molly. Okay, let us bring up, here's one from Rahul Deodar. Hitting the stumps consistently is a big bonus. All players should practice quick throws and hitting stumps well. To be fair, I think they do. Let's bring up one of our nominations. Our next nominations on a scale of 1 to Jadeja. See, we can't get away from him. How ridiculous have KKR been this season? And I don't mean ridiculously good in a Jadeja-esque way either. It's almost like KKR and Sunrisers are having a competition to see which batting lineup. We were sort of discussing maybe if you could put the KKR top order with the Sunrisers middle order.
No, the other way around.
Well, if you did that, then it would be really bad. But if you did the other way around and had the top order, then they might. Both teams might not be down the bottom of the table. They need to mix it up a little bit.
Maybe have a mid-season switch of the top and lower order. Yeah, that would work out because they're really struggling with the top order. It's a super talented top order. I mean, you have Shubman Gill, you have Nitish Rana, who's actually been the one guy scoring runs. Sunil Narayan's kind of floated in and out of that top order over the last few years as his bowling has waned. There you go. And as my W's and V's get better and better with time. And Rahul Tripathi has been an IPL star for the last few years. So it's just that, I don't know, it just feels like they're just not getting any momentum as a team, as a batting lineup in that in the top order. And then it they really depend a lot on the likes of Morgan and Andre Russell and Dinesh Karthik to give them that impetus at some point. So I don't know, they just don't seem to be clicking as a team because Pat Cummins, their most expensive buy, of course, has actually bowled pretty well this season. He's done well, but nobody's really had that really good game so far for them. And it's hurt them. And like you said, like with Sunrisers and KKR, if you're dependent on just 2 or 3 batsmen in this format, then you're just hoping that they have a good day and then they take you home. Otherwise, you will spend a lot of time at the bottom of the table.
Yeah, it's certainly is something that must be massively frustrating for them, and just looking as though they're starting to just fall away a bit compared to other teams. Both of those teams are, but it is still really early days. That's the thing that you have to remember with this IPL. So things definitely could turn around. Now, we did have another nomination about one of the older players. Here we go. Ridiculous. Tahir's direct hit at 40. Well, Tahir still has, I think he will still, when he is 80 years old and his magnificent long mane of hair is grey, that he will still be hitting the stumps and he will still be running further than anyone does to celebrate every single wicket. But yeah, that was particularly good. And I don't feel like we've seen a few really good direct hits in this IPL. We'll have to look up the stats and see if there are more or less, because I felt like I haven't seen as many yet. But again, early days.
Yeah, I mean, do we have to talk about Jadeja again? Because when you talk about direct, he kept hitting the stumps, like Rahul said earlier. He does practice a lot, so do most of them. But it's just that, like Ponting, Jadeja is the same. They just seem to be that much better than anyone else when hitting the stumps. Imran Tahir historically has not been that guy, and it was lovely watching him in that post-game interview yesterday, where he talked very, very calmly, spoke about, this is a message to all batsmen: don't take me lightly on the field. And and you're right about his hair. As someone who has experimented with coloring his hair, trying different colors, which was halted by the crazy summer we had. You never know what really works for you. Imran Tahir, I think our good friend Jeff Lemon tweeted, he looks like someone who owns a surf shop somewhere. So
he looks like Bjorn Borg. I was thinking Bjorn Borg, from 1970s, sort of sweatband kind of thing. I don't know. I'm getting a bit of that. Hey, I've just seen a I was just going to go.
No, I was saying that, and he has he's giving Sam Curran a run for his money in terms of the lightness in his hair. Sam Curran's hair just seems to get lighter and lighter with each game. It looks nothing like Tom Curran's hair, I always like to point out. But yeah, it's interesting with hair color. But Imran Tahir is just a cricketer you just love watching.
Yeah, he absolutely is. Now, Kaushik has brought something up about captains. Kaushik Sekar, two teams with foreign captains are at the bottom of the table. Is this due to lack of understanding, adaptability to conditions, or just that the teams aren't performing as well as they could? I think it's more to do with just their teams not performing. These players have all had massive amount of experience in India, in playing in the IPL, in playing with those players. So I don't think. I think it's maybe more of a coincidence. I don't know. We'll see. But the captain who interests me at the moment is our mate Rishabh Pant. It's like this personality transformation. He's now, he's like the statue of the thinker. He is Rishabh Pensive Pant. It's amazing to watch. And I think a good thing because it's allowing him to develop his character as a player.
Yeah, and the last 4 or 5 years has just his evolution as a cricketer and as a person has been fast tracked, and now we're just seeing this new Rishabh Pant. Then it tells you more that he's just a natural. He's not a put on. He's not putting on a show for someone to entertain people, like a lot of people assumed he was for a long time. He just and even in Test cricket, we've spoken about this so many times already in the last 4 months. He's played very different kinds of innings and in the limited overs format as well. So which basically means that he reacts actually, like you hear cricketers talk about it a lot, but he reacts to every situation and every scenario the way he feels right. You can see it with the way he plays his shots, the reverse sweep of Jimmy Anderson in the Test match, or even the reverse sweep of Rashid Khan yesterday. Not many batsmen take that risk of reverse sweeping Rashid Khan because you're always trying to gauge or pick what he's bowling at you or what's coming at you, but he did it. So that's just Rishabh Pant, and I'm not surprised. Maybe people expected him to be the chirpy Rishabh Pant that we hear from behind the stumps in international cricket, but why should he be that guy? I think he should be the pensive captain, and he's showing that with his call on Akshar Patel yesterday. Nobody would have picked that. Everybody would have gone for Hafiz or Rabada, especially considering Rabada just bowled a last over. He had gone for some runs, but you see the record for spinners bowling in the IPL, unless IPL Super Bowl, unless you're Rashid Khan, I think all have lost, or every team has lost the game. So full credit to him for taking that bold call and giving Akshar Patel the ball, and it worked out for him. So the pensiveness is helping Pant.
The pensiveness and the leg buys. Who thought the super over comes down to leg buys as well in the end?
Oh, that was a pretty bad super over, I must say.
It was, but it was enough for Delhi to win anyway. Right, so the time has come, my friend. Drum roll. What has been the goodest thing for you for the past few days?
Oh, I can sum it up in one word. It's just Jadeja, right? Like, he's just doing everything. He's doing it with a smile on his face. And, we spoke at the top of the show about how difficult it has been, like, for us to watch the IPL and enjoy what's happening on the field while still being aware of what's happening and feeling very helpless about. I've been thinking about it, like, what can I do for, like, to help or to provide some solace to someone back home. It's not easy, but to see Jadeja doing what he does, at least it tells you there's something to smile about, I guess, from the IPL. And him and Chennai Super Kings, just the way that people had, like, written them off after that first game, but they seem to be coming back very strong, and Jadeja has a lot to do with it.
So what is your baddest thing? I do see a late nomination coming in from Kartik saying bad not letting Bairstow open with Williamson in the super over. There's definitely an argument that you could have done that. But what would you have said was the baddest thing?
I think it's just we touched on it, like Sunrisers and KKR. The Indian batting, I think the batting for Sunrisers, you see again, it's come down to Bairstow and Williamson and Warner. I mean, there is a lot of talent in that middle order, but they're really struggling. I mean, if those three don't have a decent day, then Kane Williamson batted like a dream yesterday, but still he needed support. It really came down to Jagdish or Suchit at the end, to even take them to that point where they could tie the game. So they're really struggling, and they have struggled in the last few years. You hopefully someone like Abhishek Sharma just finds that mojo and starts performing. As far as KKR, like I said, they have a great batting talent at the top. Maybe just thinking about it, maybe they just have too many proper batsmen, if that makes sense. Maybe throw maybe Sunil Narayan back to open the batting, just to kind of be the disruptor at the top of the order. They just have some really classy batsmen at the top. Maybe something like that will work. But as of now, their batting lineups and the Indian batsmen in particular in this team have been very poor.
Okay, and you're going to have to do this quickly because I've just realized my battery is dying. It's falling out the wall. So what is your most ridiculousest thing for the day?
I know I said it's going to be Steve Smith's wagon wheel before we pressed record because I thought it was crazy. The number of times he hit the edge was just crazy. But I think it has to go to Harshal Patel's day yesterday. He's been like the bowler of the tournament so far. Like the first 3 overs conceding 14 runs, turned the game, 3 wickets, and getting smashed for 37 runs, like the most ever in IPL history. It couldn't get more ridiculous than that. How will he remember that day? Well, it really is. We'll see when we see him next for RCB. But yeah, I think that for me was the most ridiculous thing of the week. That's
a pretty fair thing. In fact, I think he's been the most ridiculous thing a couple of weeks. I think it was his dancing last week, and now it's actually with the bat. So there you go. That is good, bad, ridiculous again for this week. Please do send us your nominations throughout the week. We promise we'll be looking at all of them. Thank you so much for joining us. You can see the comments coming in. We really, really do appreciate it. And we just hope you guys stay safe over there. So please do stay in. Go back and watch all the old episodes of Good, Bad, and Ridiculous rather than going out. How about that? And we'll also be back later in the week with an episode of Over and Out, which is brought to you by Skrill. So please do join us for that one as well. And until then, please take care, and we'll see you soon.